Let's bring in New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. She joins us now. Congresswoman, welcome, and good to have you here on set. Jump into the conversation here, because we had Kellyanne Conway on with us last hour, and she said this. Listen.
We talk about, we converse and collaborate according to what offends us, but we vote according to what affects us. And our children always affect us. And by the way, it's not just parents. Let's give a shout out to grandparents and godparents and not yet parents. Everybody's worried about the kids.
Everybody is worried about the kids. It's been a rough couple of years for children, but you see many of these far-left Democrats still pushing their far-left agenda, even over parental rights, when they see the potential political consequences in November.
Again, there's a clear contrast, particularly in this year's election, because you're seeing Republicans saying we need to focus on the basics, arithmetic, writing, reading, history, science. And then you have the Democrats and the far left coming in saying they want to talk about all these issues that, why would you want to talk to a K through 2 grade school child about sexual identity, about orientation, about all these things, when they should be really focused on the basics of education? And then you look at critical race theory, and then you even look at the college level. State University of New York inviting a cop killer to come speak at their campus about being a political prisoner. He killed 2 police officers, and that is also something that the state of New York, the governor, is in charge of. She did not say a word about it. So you're seeing it at all levels. School, we need to focus on these kids' immediate needs. Look at New York City, by the way, right? 2/3 are proficient in reading. Half proficient in math. Don't you think we should be spending some more time, particularly after they lost so much instruction over the last 2 years, on these basic things that they need to survive?
Seems pretty obvious, John.
Yeah, there's no question about that. But, you know, when it comes to how much parents should have a say in what their children are being taught, where do you draw the line there? Because government obviously has a hand, but parental groups have a hand as well. And should these two things dovetail together?
Parents should absolutely have a say in their child's education. And that's why Republican members of Congress, we've introduced legislation. Julia Letlow and I, we've introduced legislation that would give parents access to the curriculum, access to the reading material, making sure that they have at least an opportunity to meet with teachers twice a year, giving them an opportunity to protect their children's private and personal information from third parties. These are things that I think the average parent says, this makes common sense, and we want to see that. We want to have more say. Look what this administration did. They actually sent the FBI after them. They called them terrorists because they went to the school boards and actually spoke out on behalf of their own children.
Speaking of which, here's Glenn Youngkin on lessons learned from his race. Listen.
Parents matter, and I think that was such a big factor in getting elected. We've been leading on this for the last year, and I'm just so excited to see the rest of the nation fall in and recognize that parents matter when it comes to their kids' education.
Why has there not been a lesson learned from that?
Well, there will be a lesson learned, and it's going to be this November when Democrats are voted out in droves. You saw New Jersey governor almost lost, and of course Virginia was flipped. If Mr. Murphy was so confident that this was the curriculum his parents in his state wanted for their young children, why did he not talk about this before the election? I can guarantee if he did, he would not be there today as the governor.
Here is Mitch McConnell over the weekend, Fox News Sunday, talking about what will happen if they are able to flip the Senate. Listen.
We will not have the presidency for 2 more years. Obviously, we'll have to work with the administration to see what we can agree on. If I'm the majority leader in the Senate and Kevin McCarthy's the Speaker of the House, we'll make sure Joe Biden is a moderate.
Your reaction?
Well, we can certainly move the pendulum the other way, and we need to. Look what's happened, the border crisis. We have legislation to secure our borders, to stop the madness that we're seeing. We want to keep Title 42 in place, the public health law at the border. If the Senate and the House actually had a vote on this today, it would actually be prevented, what President Biden is trying to do. Certainly looking at the economy, spending less money, paying down our debt, looking at economic policies that will help small businesses get back on their feet, and of course, parental bill of rights. That's another thing that I know Leader McCarthy has been talking about bringing to the forefront. The reality is that the things that the people don't like right now, it's happening under one-party Democrat rule. We need to flip the House at minimum to have some type of balance so we can stop these bad policies that are so destructive to this country.
I've got to leave it there. Prediction for November?
I think we're going to have a big win. I think it's going to be people are going to come out in droves, and they're going to send a clear message that they're tired of what's happening. That's the border crisis, the economic crisis, the anti-energy policies of this administration, crime in cities like ours. They're going to come out and vote against all of it this November. And if they don't, it's shame on all us who are voting. That if they don't send the message, then it's a shame on the people for not making their will very clear.
Congressman, great to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope to have you back soon. John?
All right, Senator, President Biden said to